All right. Well, I was interested in making a video about Zach Wilson and about sort of what are the numbers. What can we look at from looking at his splits? Is there anything he's doing well here, or is it all just a complete mess? Are there things we can look at here? Because let's be honest, the numbers aren't pretty. Like all across the board, you have some tough numbers when it comes to Zach Wilson, and you have some tough tape. I mean, this has not been the guy who I saw in college, quite frankly. This feels like it's a completely different person. And you still see the flashes with Zach Wilson. And that's kind of my question is, have we seen enough? What do we see in the numbers that can help us learn some more about him? Because he is a young player. One of the biggest flaws I think I had in my early days of being a YouTuber, I still, relatively early. I've done it for 3 years now. And, one of my flaws is I tried to sort of jump to conclusions when it comes to young quarterbacks. I'm trying to not do that now and trying to, not make the same mistakes I've made with, guys like a Josh Allen where I say, he sucks, gotta get a new quarterback. Well, turned out he was really awesome and just took some time to develop. Trying to give guys more time now. But anyways, let's look at the numbers and let's see what we can find with Zach Wilson. So first, something like this is just something that jumps out at you right away. 9th most percent of pressure where the quarterback shares some responsibility. So that means when pressures are happening, a good chunk of it is because of him. He has a big hand in that kind of stuff. Also 37th in average time to throw. So he's trying to make stuff happen. It's not always working. Sometimes it does, but he needs to be a little bit better at, knowing when he actually needs to scramble. And I've often said, too, sometimes just get out of the pocket quicker. That's kind of an issue as well as he has, is he makes the decision to try and scramble too late, which then allows for the pressure to already be there by the time he scrambles. Maybe be a little bit quicker in moving around, stuff like that. So again, this is kind of why I like looking at numbers, because it can back up what you see on tape and give you more of a definitive, yep, this is an issue we see on tape, or maybe no, it isn't an issue. This is something I see on tape, and then the numbers back it up and can kind of confirm, okay, yeah, this is a real issue that Wilson just needs to get better at. All right, now let's look at this chart. So just so you know what we're looking at here, so this is going to be how well he does in terms of how far he's throwing down the field in each category. So there's 20 plus yards down the field, 10 to 19, 0 to 9, and then behind the line of scrimmage. And then the three, columns from left to right are where he ranks in terms of PFF grade. So that means, top one is he's 29th in PFF grade, where he ranks in terms of passer rating, and then where he ranks in terms of the percentage of his throws that are that far down the field. So that's not the actual percentage, like for example 13, that doesn't mean that he throws the ball 13% of the time, 20 plus yards down the field. It means he ranks 13th in highest percentage of 20 plus yards down the field throws, basically. As in highest percentage of his throws that are 20 plus yards on the field. Anyways, try my best to make it clear. Hopefully you got there. So yeah, first things worth noting is there's some ugly numbers, and we're going to see some ugly numbers. Again, I made these for Lawrence, for Fields, and now for Wilson, and there's ugly numbers throughout all of them because they're young quarterbacks who haven't played particularly well and haven't been in great situations, so that kind of checks out a little bit. But what can we learn from this? Where are some positives throughout this? Well, he's doing better comparatively, sort of in that 20 plus yards down the field range. A PFF grade of 29th in the league and a passer rating of 23rd in the league. Listen, that's not great, but you compare Zach Wilson's overall numbers to the rest of the league, and it looks abysmal. So getting him to be, this is in tier 4 quarterback range. If he can, be in there in any of these categories, that's a win for the New York Jets for this season, for him as a rookie, which, again, this stuff does make sense. We know he has a big arm. Maybe you'd like it to be higher, but that's currently where it's at. Sort of going one step down to that 10 to 19 range, not the best there, which is weird because that's a big chunk of where the Jets want to live, is their offense kind of wants to be in that range in a lot of ways, and it just hasn't worked out. I think that's fair to say. I do think it's fair to say that, it hasn't just been a Wilson thing, but there have been instances where, like, there's a tight window and Wilson throws it a bit too early and it gets intercepted and stuff like that. That certainly happened. You also have going one step down. So his PFF grade is actually pretty good in that 0 to 9 range, despite the fact that the passer rating not as good, which I find a little bit interesting. Don't really know what to make of that, but that's what I see. So I don't know. kind of doesn't really check out from what I see on tape. I feel like that's where he's really struggled in terms of, that underneath stuff, the checkdowns and things of that nature. And results-wise, that is true. It's his worst passer rating area. But in terms of what PFF says, he's actually done better there. So I'll let you be the judge. Not great either in the below the line of scrimmage stuff, but I kind of feel like that tends to be mostly the team around him and the team around whoever's throwing the ball as opposed to the quarterback itself. I don't really factor too much into that. Kind of some interesting stuff, though. Here's another interesting split. He's better, as in he himself is better when there's no play action, although the passer rating ends up being similar. And again, it's worth mentioning, just because you rank the same or similar in terms of passer rating doesn't mean that necessarily the actual passer rating itself is similar, just that where you rank in terms of your peers tends to be similar. And as you see, I mean, the PFF grade for play action versus no play action, he does a lot better when he's off script, which kind of makes some sense, right? When it's not you have to throw the ball here, it's kind of, hey, just go play football. That's where he has excelled. And that's kind of, if you like Zach Wilson, that's what you like about him, is that other stuff. Does probably have to get better, though, at the on-script stuff, because that is maybe not all of a quarterback, but it's a good chunk of being a quarterback. So that's what he does have to improve upon. But again, it's a lot easier to teach a quarterback to, throw the ball in this simple stuff than it is to teach a quarterback to do the stuff that he can do when things go right. That's kind of always been my point about Wilson and why I'm slow to give up on him. This one's another interesting thing. So there's a big jump from when he goes from under pressure to kept clean in terms of PFF grade. Passer rating not, though. His passer rating, again, very horrible when he's kept clean. It's 40th. I mean, that's bad. And again, you might be wondering, wait, how is it 40 if there's only 32 teams? It's because it's among quarterbacks who have played at least 20% of their snaps. I believe it's at 41, so 40th out of 41 total spots. I believe that's the case. It's around there. So that's not great. But he performs a little bit better. So again, another one of those. PFF says he's better than the actual results are. So is it a team issue instead of him? Possibly. That's possible. Or maybe it's a Zach Wilson issue. I don't know entirely. The blitzed versus not blitzed, the PFF grades isn't too similar. Passer rating is a little bit better when he's not blitzed. So again, kind of checks out a little bit. I do feel like he still makes some mistakes. Like he's still taking too many sacks, as we kind of talked about. So that kind of stuff he definitely needs to clean up. Now, this was like shocking to me when I saw it. I was very surprised. I would have guessed this went the other way, not this way. When he gets rid of the ball in less than 2.5 seconds, he actually is performing all right. But when it's taking more than 2.5 seconds, that's when he starts to struggle. And, again, all right relative to what he's done. Like a passer rating of 24th best in football, that's not what most people would consider all right. But for what we've seen from Zach Wilson, that kind of is what you consider all right so far. I'm interested in this. I'm not sure exactly why this is. It could just be sort of randomness. It also could be the fact that, well, guys aren't really getting open. And so when Zach Wilson sees that no one is open, he almost always holds on to the ball too long, and then bad stuff happens. Like I said, he takes too many sacks. He does hold on to the ball for too long. So the reality is he probably needs to be, making a decision quicker. I think that's kind of what we've talked about with Wilson. He just takes too long to make these decisions. And if you can get that down, he can be really good, but he has to get that down. So yeah, listen, I mean, again, these numbers aren't going to be spectacular. We all know that. We all know Wilson hasn't had the season that we hoped he would. He hasn't been Aaron Rodgers just yet, but he has still had those flashes. People keep saying it's the weirdest narrative that he's the one guy who hasn't had flashes. Like, no, he's had just as many, if not more, flashes than Trevor Lawrence. Now, he might not have had a consistent game as good as Trevor Lawrence has had some consistent games. I think that's a fair criticism. But by that logic, then what? Is Davis Mills the best quarterback in the draft? Because he's had some great games. I don't think so. I think that I would rather still have Trevor Lawrence or Zach Wilson over Davis Mills. Call me crazy. So I think there's still plenty of stuff to like. And I think that there are some encouraging things about these numbers. You do definitely know where he needs to improve upon, but it's better to be a quarterback who is struggling, but there's clear things you can improve upon, and there are still some things you're doing well, than to just be sucking at everything. So at least with some of this, there's some, intrigue, but there's still no denying, okay, yeah, it's been a disappointing season, but at least there's hope. That's kind of what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.